me what's going on for you and how I could help.
So I am I've been studying off and on for a year for the LSAT. And I am just kind of hitting a wall, as far as what I should be doing every day. I was going to take it in June, and then everything happened with the LSAT-Flex. I decided to wait till August, to take it, to maybe it'll be normal by then. If not, at least have time to kind of adjust to the LSAT-Flex and how that works. I've been using your day-by-day schedules have been helping, but I think I just feel very scattered and overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm not sure what I should be doing to prepare for other parts of my application. So
all right, well, let's start beginning with the LSAT Flex and taking it potentially in August and being ready for anything. Do you feel like you have a good handle on what the LSAT Flex is and how it differs from the regular?
A lot more than I did. I feel a little bit less, overwhelmed by it. So that's good. And a lot of that's because of your Instagram posts and everything. I've been following that. So thank you.
Of course.
But,
sure.
Yeah, so that's helped. But I'm interested to see what the quirks are with it, and kind of when people get their scores back, how they're feeling about all of the changes and how that affects their scores. So yeah.
Definitely, I hear you. Now, you've got the day-by-day study plan, so that doesn't really change, even for the Flex. The only part that changes is when you're doing timed exams later, to be doing 3-section exams rather than 5. And then with the Flex, logical reasoning being a third rather than a half, you might want to devote less time to LR and more time to the other sections, but that's pretty much it. Right. So I'm curious, when you say that you're feeling overwhelmed with everything, can you share more?
So that was actually one of the funny things, is I knew I wanted to really understand the strategies. I had kind of did what you did, and I had started with practice tests, and I shouldn't have, and I just got really discouraged and started reading logical reasoning strategies. So I was like, okay, this is a big part of the test. I was doing pretty good with analytical reasoning. And then this happened and they made it 1/3 of the test. And so I'm kind of trying to readjust and prepare for anything. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to, I guess, bring it back and focus on all three in a way. So
I hear you. Well, just remember that the content of the exam hasn't changed at all. The weighting of things has shifted a little bit, but overall, you still want to get as high accuracy as possible. So it sounds like obviously the changes could throw you for a loop, and especially getting a handle on them and knowing that there's some uncertainty about what August is going to be. But I would just stick to the core stuff, stick to the concepts, keep following the plan. All the previous exams are still perfectly relevant, and just focus on deepening your understanding as much as possible. And if you want more certainty about the format, you might want to do the LSAT in October or November instead. But I wouldn't delay for that reason alone, honestly. I'd say August, we don't really know, too early to say. But for now, focus on the content, and later we'll learn more about which format you'll end up getting.
Okay. And then I had another question for you. So for your day-by-day schedules, do you feel like it's bad to go out of order, or is it possible to kind of switch out? Like say you have a logical, I think it starts with analytical reasoning. So say I started with logical reasoning because I've already been through those books. Would that be bad, or is that something that you think you could switch out, or does it make sense?
Yeah, totally fine. You could start with logical reasoning and then come back to the other sections later. The schedule is really more important for the level of specificity it contains about what to do than the particular day-by-day breakdown.
Okay. And then I had another question that I had kind of run into. So with everything going on with the coronavirus, shipping is really hard with prep test books. So I was wondering if you knew of a website where I could find online tests or resources where I could find some of the prep tests on, I don't know, in an online format. Do you know of anything like that?
Yeah, there is. LSAC actually created a program called Law Hub, also known as Official LSAT Prep Plus, where they've put the majority of exams in the digital LSAT format.
Okay. Okay,
And that's the
that's
same
great.
format you'll be doing for the LSAT-Flex as well. So whether you get the Flex or the digital on a tablet, either way, that's the same exact software system.
Right, right. And I remember watching one of your videos and you talked about how you could even just buy like a really cheap tablet and practice that way, just in case it was going to be back in the normal format. So I think I might try that for sure.
Yeah, either way, I would get the Law Hub subscription. It's $99 for an entire year. And that's
Okay.
actually a lot cheaper than getting all the books and dealing with the shipping. So $99, you get most LSATs in the digital LSAT format. So yeah, get a cheap tablet. Also do some prep on your computer too, because you don't know whether you'll do the Flex or the tablet.
Okay. Okay. And then this is less of an LSAT question, and I guess it kind of is, but do you think I should be preparing for other parts of my application at the same time and have them kind of ready by the beginning of the school year? Because I'm still a full-time student. Or did you kind of wait until you were done with the LSAT to start with asking for recommendation letters, asking for help on your resume, and for people to look at your sorry, things are escaping me right now, but just different parts of your application? Would you wait to focus on that, or would you start on that as soon as possible?
Yeah, the rec letters, that's the one thing I would ask for now or as early as possible, because that requires other people to take action, and they're busy. They're always busy. They're especially busy these days dealing with everything on their personal lives and such. So I would say request your rec letters now. The other stuff, you could do the bulk of the work after you've taken the LSAT, but it's never too early to start thinking about your personal statement or optional essays or updating your resume and making it appropriate for law school admissions specifically. So I would say rec letters, figure that out now and request those as soon as possible. Maybe supply the recommenders with a couple of bullet points of what to talk about.
Okay, okay. And you can request those as long as you buy the CAS system on LSAC, right? You can
Yeah, because they've got to submit them directly to LSAC. They can't submit them to you. And so I would want to have that all set up.
Right. Okay, great. Okay, great. I'm trying to think of any other questions I have. Those were the big ones I had written down. I guess one thing I could go into is test accommodations. So I do take medication for ADHD, but I've read that it's pretty hard to actually get those accommodations. So I'm wondering if it's even worth it. I know, everybody would do better with more time, but I know that I would for sure, because as I study without timing, I know that I can get the questions right, but then it's thinking about having that crunch time that really worries me. And I also struggle with test anxiety. So I'm hoping that I can work through that and kind of practice in conditions that'll kind of mimic what it'll be like on test day. But do you have any advice on that? Like, is it just kind of a don't even try, or should I talk to my doctor and see if they can do something? I'm not sure where to go with that.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought this up actually, because it has become much easier in recent years to get extra time accommodations. LSAC has been sued by a lot of people over the years, and they've since softened their requirements around that. And so if you can get the documentation, especially if you have a history, then it's not that hard to get extra time. And so time and a half is very reasonable to request. You could get double time sometimes, but double time actually becomes pretty long with a 5-section exam. So you might actually want time and a half rather than double time. But I would start that process as soon as possible. It takes a while to get the paperwork together, and then takes a while for LSAC to process it. So do that sooner rather than later. I would work on that ASAP. I would do that now, then do the rec letters, and then deal with everything else.
Okay. And so I know that they used to star your results. Can they still do that? Because I heard that there was some kind of lawsuit that caused them to not be able to do that anymore. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So that's one other result of these lawsuits, is that aside from it being easier to get accommodations like extra time, they do not mark the score reports of those accommodated test takers. And so law schools will never know whether you got extra time or not when you're applying. You're treated just the same.
Okay, great. That's awesome. Thank you. I didn't know that. I had seen a couple of different articles from like a while back and didn't know what the update was. So I'm really glad I asked you about that because I wouldn't have even bothered.
I'm always happy to be able to report
Okay,
good news.
awesome. I think that's all the questions I had. So
awesome. Well, I'm really glad we connected. Before we sign off, what would you say is the biggest insight you got from our call today?
Definitely just, I think that was probably a really big one, was just some of these questions that I'm getting all of these mixed answers about. And it really helps to get some clarification on like what's my next step? You know, that's the scariest part, I guess, is like trying to figure out, okay, do I apply for accommodations later or do I ask for rec letters now? You know, so that helps a lot that you kind of broke it down for me. So thank you.
Of course. Well, keep at it. Let me know if you need anything as you move forward. I'm happy to help.
Great. Yeah. Thanks so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.